As we reported earlier, President Trump took steps to roll back some parts of the Obama administration's opening to Cuba, which began 2.5 years ago. John Yang reports now on what's out and what stays in effect.
President Donald Trump.
President Trump made the announcement in Miami's Little Havana before an enthusiastic crowd in a packed auditorium.
Effective immediately, I am canceling the last administration's completely one-sided deal with Cuba.
While the president's action falls short of canceling, he said it fulfills a campaign promise to undo President Obama's re-engagement with Cuba.
Today, the United States of America is changing its relationship with the people of Cuba.
In December 2014, Mr. Obama restored diplomatic ties with the island nation after more than 50 years of hostility. In March 2016, he became the first U.S. president to visit Cuba in nearly a century. President Trump says his focus is halting the flow of U.S. dollars to the communist government.
Our policy will seek a much better deal for the Cuban people and for the United States of America. We do not want U.S. dollars to prop up a military monopoly that exploits and abuses the citizens of Cuba.
The new policy bans transactions with enterprises, including hotels and other tourist-related businesses, ultimately owned by the Cuban military. Mr. Trump is also reinstating a rule that restricts individual travel and requires most visits to Cuba to be in group tours organized by American companies. But the policy continues direct commercial flights between the two countries. The administration will also maintain the U.S. Embassy in Havana, but still with no ambassador. In Havana today, Cubans reacted.
Trump's words simply seem a bit ambiguous. If the governments want the best for both the Cuban and American people, they have to look out for the common things that exist between the two.
It definitely feels like a huge setback in the relationship between Cuba and the United States. We'll see what happens, but right now, I think it's like going back to the Cold War.
None of the changes will take effect until the U.S. Treasury and Commerce Departments issue new regulations, which could take months. For more on the revised policy and how it's being understood in Cuba, we turn to Alan Gomez of USA Today, who joins us from Havana. Alan, thanks for being with us. We heard in the tape piece a little smattering of some reaction from the streets of Havana, but I know you've been out reporting today. What are you hearing from average Cubans in Havana about this change?
I mean, it's been a level of confusion, of sadness, of disgust, of anger. You know, just imagine, these people have lived here for decades without any interaction with the United States, with the U.S. just treating them as an enemy and closing off to them. Then 2.5 years ago, they get this opening, and they talk about this period already in the past tense as this glorious period where they were able to have more Americans down here, interact with them more, and visit the U.S. more. And now Trump has taken, not all away, but has really cut that back significantly. So yeah, there's a lot of anger here right now, and a lot of confusion over why it's being done.
How have they talked about how their lives have changed? What difference this past 2 years has been to them?
Well, understand, in Cuba, the state-run economy, you know, you only get a certain salary from the government, you only get certain benefits from the government. So what they rely on so heavily across the board is tourism. And what it's done is infused a whole lot of Americans down here over these past 2.5 years. So you think about everybody from private restaurant owners to private taxis to tour guides, all these people that interact with Americans, they're all the ones that are getting that benefit directly. President Trump talked a lot today about how all of the money that's been going down over these last couple of years is going straight to the Cuban government. But I can tell you from being down here quite a bit over the last couple of years and talking to folks today that they're saying that no, they get a lot of it. Yes, of course, some of it goes to the government, but they're upset that to punish the Cuban government, they're the ones that are getting hurt as well.
How will they get hurt? How will the life change for them under these changed rules?
Well, it's a combination of things. It's, well, quite simply, fewer American tourists are going to be able to make the trip because of the way that the Trump administration is going to change the visa system. It's going to be a lot harder for American tourists now to get to the U.S. Right now, if you are an American and want to come down to Cuba, you hop online, you figure out your trip, and you can pretty much get your visa at the airport counter on your way down here. Now they're going to go back to the old way where you have to apply beforehand to the federal government, get approval to go down. And so the people down here in Cuba are just expecting that torrent of American visitors is going to dry up. And then there's another aspect of just all these private business owners that have had a lot of interaction in the last few years going to the United States, working with U.S. business people, getting training in the United States and bringing those lessons back to Cuba. And so they're worried that that's going to be limited as well.
Alan, in the less than a minute we have left, I want to ask you about a development on your regular beat, which is immigration. The Trump administration announced late last night that they were going to keep the program that protects from deportation undocumented immigrants who came as children. The president during the campaign said he was going to do away with that. He was going to change that Obama policy. What do you make of this, deciding to keep this?
What the president did was pretty much eliminate a program that would have protected their parents from deportation. That program, there's no immediate effect of that because although that program had been on hold in the courts for some time now, but what it does is it means that those parents are never going to get any sort of legal status under this president. And more than that, it means that those children that have been protected from deportation under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, now they're worried that they're going to have that taken away from them.
Although in the president's announcement or the administration announcement last night, they specifically said that that program would remain in place. Alan Gomez of USA Today from Havana, Cuba. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.